So he's making us new so that we are actually people that can flourish around, we can flourish in relationship to God. We can be honest to God in prayer and praise. We can feel okay about ourselves in our own skin.
Dale, this is our final one for the year.
It is. It's been a good year.
It's funny, Dale walks into the studio and I say, Dale, mate, how's work? You know, busy looking forward to the end of the year? Dale says, yeah, the cabin's coming along really nicely. I can't, I'm doing, no, Auckland Prayer Network. How you doing?
Yeah, no, working hard. Yeah, working hard.
Praying as I work.
Jesus was a carpenter.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at Matthew 1:21. That's the one we want to have a look at this morning. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus. Now, this is the part that you want to dissect, because he will save his people from their sins.
Yeah.
Okay.
That word sin.
Sin and Christmas.
Yeah.
Usually we associate Christmas with joy.
Yeah.
A lot of, not so much sin.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
Yeah, well, Matthew, the author of this gospel, is signaling what Jesus has come for, And so, he's talking about, this is not just warm fuzzies. He's not just come to sort of embrace and give humanity a hug as we were. There's something to deal with there. And so, but this word sin is kind of, it's not, we don't use it generally a lot. Sometimes we're afraid that it's offensive. It feels a little crusty, a little bit old, a little bit religious.
It's not a word that's used outside of a religious context at all, right? So if you're not a church person or grew up in a church, you probably don't say that word for anything.
It feels judgmental.
Yes.
Sins, like there's some list, objective, true list in the sky of right things and wrong things, and I've not done all the right things that I should have done, and I've done some of the wrong things, and it just feels it's moral, legalistic kind of judgmental framework. So we don't
Good
like the
idea,
word.
man. Let's get rid of it. Let's just never.
But that's the thing. Like the gospel is not just about, we're not junk. God didn't make junk, but we're also not just awesome and amazing all the time. We need this problem to be dealt with so that we can relate. And so I guess one definition of sin that I really like, I find really useful, Cornelius Plantinga Jr. That's his name, this theologian. That's just a great name. I had to say it.
He's a character in Lord of the Rings.
Cornelius Plantinga Jr. in his book, Not the Way It's Supposed to Be, he writes this book on sin.
Is this a recent book, or is this like an old?
Oh, no, he's still alive,
Really?
Yeah.
A guy called Cornelius is still alive.
I think, unless he died recently.
No, okay, well, no, yeah, but of this era.
It is that kind of name, though, where you think, no.
It sounds old-timey, yeah.
Anyways, he says, and I like this definition, he says, sin is the culpable vandalism of shalom. And shalom is this concept of living and flourishing right relationships with God, with myself, with others, and even the created order. Right? And so sin isn't just some thing where there's a list of things I should and shouldn't do, If we think about it in relational terms, sin breaks that connection between the source of life and goodness and grace. It makes me feel bad about myself. It disrupts relationships with others, and it even somehow disconnects me from the earth and the universe, the creation. Like that
Lost
noise.
my Lord of the Ring.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But no. I mean, so the vandalism of shalom. I just think that's a relational
Very creative
way to look at it. Yeah.
of kind of saying it. Because, I guess, some people see, I don't know, like you said earlier, maybe this black and white kind of list of do's and don'ts and like, this is okay, this is not, whatever. But yeah, when I think about like, what is sin? What does that mean? It's kind of like, it's like going against the way that God created us to be as people. Like it's going against his idea for creation. Yeah. And if that's kind of your measure, it's pretty often easy to see what is a kind of a sinful thing or not.
You also use the word relational.
Yeah.
And you've got a young son.
Yeah.
Right. So, right? So
bring it back to it's good.
Okay. So in terms of Gen Z and the younger generation, how does this conversation sit with them in terms of, the language that we're using here?
Look, I think a lot of technology has promised to connect us, but it's actually disconnected us. And I think the younger generations are kind of experiencing that sometimes I've heard that there can be social awkwardness. They're more comfortable online than in person.
No, you should try having a conversation with Tabs.
Not talking about anyone in particular. Clearly these young people are great people, but I think sometimes technology and other things have not served us well.
Yep.
I mean, lockdown wasn't good for a lot of our young people in schools, trying to do school from home.
Well, we say that about young people. I mean, that's everybody, right?
Yeah,
because everybody, it's changing the way society interacts with each other, how people converse, how they talk to each other, whether they do or not, all of that stuff, right? So it's everybody's affected by this stuff.
But, just think about Christmas and this verse and the good news of it, what's inspiring about it, because it sounds a bit negative. We're focusing on sin and the harms and the bad things of technology and the effect on us. But this is a hopeful verse. He will save his people from his sins. He's not just going to erase bad things and you do another thing and then he has to erase it again. You do another bad thing, he's got to erase it. He's making us new. He's going to save his people from their sins. So he's making us new so that we are actually people that can flourish around. We can flourish in relationship to God. We can be honest to God in prayer and praise. We can feel okay about ourselves in our own skin, have self-confidence, God confidence, grace confidence, and we can actually serve others without trying to impress them. We can look at others as equals, not fearing them or looking down on them in judgment. And we can actually serve the creation and care for it.
That's a beautiful way to wrap this up, about the vulnerability of your honesty when you're sort of reaching out to God and praying to God. Yeah. So is that a practical tip that you would encourage people to be to do over the season?
Absolutely. I mean, Christmas is obviously a joyful time, but it's a challenging time for some. Some people are struggling to pay for Christmas gifts. Some people don't have great relationships with their family, and so these gatherings can be awkward or they're excluded from those. So there can be a lot of pain at Christmas time as well as the joy. And we can process that with God and with ourselves and try to extend love and participate, and care for the world, be people of shalom, being redeemed from our sins.
We love you, Dale.
Yeah.
It's been fun having you in, Dale, all of this year. If anyone's got verses that you're like, man, what's going on with this one, or I'd like to hear some more thoughts on this, you feel free to text them in, and maybe next year when Dale comes back, after we review the show and see if we invite him back, maybe you can have a look at some of those. Dale,
sounds good.
It's been awesome, man. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thanks for the hat as well that you gave me earlier this year.
Hey, it was an early Christmas.
Did you give him a hat?
I wear it when I work on my shop.
You gave Dale a hat.
A Bass Pro Shops hat.
I gave him my Bass Pro.
You gave Dale a hat.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
you gave me a gift.
It's nice that you got a gift.
Are you not? You'd
do
like
you
a
like
gift
the
as
t-shirt
well.
that Beyonce's wearing?
They're making it about
Do you like
you.
the t-shirt that Beyonce's wearing?
Oh, look at this. Music, right?
Say what?
Say what?